Welcome to the nation's capital, but we're not talking monuments or politics. Tonight, we're diving deep into the real soul of DC, the go-go scene. From legendary clubs that helped define the sound to underground spots still keeping the beat alive. We're talking the clubs that made go-go more than just music. It's a movement. Whether you're a lifelong fan or hearing that bounce for the first time, get ready to step inside DC's iconic clubs, where the party never stops. The Chapter 3 stood as a vital heartbeat of the city's vibrant go-go scene during the 1980s. Chapter 3 served as more than just a nightclub. It was a cultural epicenter located on 1st Street Southeast. Crowds from across the city would gather to experience live performances from legendary bands like Chuck Brown, Rare Essence, and Trouble Funk, whose sets often stretched late into the night, pulsing with the energy of the streets. The venue's dimly lit, sweat-filled space echoed with the rhythms of congas and rototoms, creating a raw, electric atmosphere that captured the spirit of go-go. For many, Chapter 3 wasn't just a place to party, it was a sanctuary, a space where the city's black youth could express themselves freely, connect, and claim ownership of a sound that was entirely their own. The Chapter had become one of the most talked about venues in the DC go-go circuit. The air inside was thick. Sweat, smoke, and bass drum vibrations filled every corner. The crowd was electric, mostly young people from different neighborhoods, repping their blocks and hoods. The latest fashion, the slang, and the ladies were definitely in the building dressed to impress. Almost everyone that lived in Arthur Cape was frequent from time to time. It was the neighborhood club that became the backdrop for turf wars, clashes between neighborhood crews, and a rising tide of tension fueled by drugs and street politics. The city's biggest drug kingpins would party there, and fights could break out mid-set. Gunshots sometimes rang out in the parking lot, and police presence became normal. In 1988, a wild shootout nearby left a woman dead and 3 others shot. The club was shut down momentarily. Incidents like this were the reason for many name changes of the club. It was first the Chapter, then Chapter 2. It later became Chapter 3 after new management. Then later it became the Nexus Club, which was a gentleman's club. In 1985, on Georgia Avenue Northwest held a spot that many still remember vividly, the Black Hole. It was one of the clubs where go-go music found one of its vital venues. These were not fancy places. The interior wasn't luxurious. Often, lights were minimal, the sound system loud, and the crowd packed in.
I eat my favorite bang. Can't you see I got my red and my white because I'm out of sight? Red Essence be slamming, Mickey be cranking, Funk be rapping. They just be getting their man up early Friday of the Black Hole. Man, I love the go-go beat. I just love go-go.
But when the music started, the place changed. Teenagers from across the city, some from Petworth, some from Southeast, some from neighborhoods far off, even from communities outside of DC. They came because the Black Hole was where many of the leading go-go bands played. Rare Essence, EU, Junkyard, and Backyard, all part of the growing ecosystem of go-go bands. Later, it was renamed Celebrity Hall. One ritual was your name in the go-go. Your crew would print their nickname or neighborhood on a Madness t-shirt, cardboard, or whatever you had. When the band leader did shout-outs, a signature part of go-go, they might shout your name in the area you came from. That was huge. A moment of recognition, of being seen or known. Crowds showed up dressed in the style, carrying towels. You might wonder, why towels? Because the go-go was intense. People would sweat through hours of partying. People formed in front of the stage, dancing facing the band, moving with them, responding, sharing the energy. Many people danced for 30 to 45 minutes straight, non-stop. The clubs did not shake the music, and music should not be held responsible for the actions of patrons. But it wasn't all pure joy. The Black Hole had a reputation. Security was heavy. Patrons were frisked for weapons or drugs at the door. It even had metal detectors at a point in time. Neighbors often complained about noise and spilling crowds, causing trouble in the streets after the club closed. Inside, there were occasional fights. Many people who frequented the Black Hole felt the negative reputation of being dangerous or violent was misunderstood. Officials ignored the fact it was simply energetic youth, intense dancing, and love for the music that kept teens off the streets. Clubs like the Black Hole were disproportionately blamed. As tensions from the crack epidemic and neighborhood rivalries boiled over, the venue became a symbol of the broader crisis gripping the city at the time. Shootings and several murders happened nearby outside after the go-go, but that wouldn't stop the people from showing up every weekend.
Regulatory Affairs recommended the hall's license be revoked because of violence and neighborhood complaints. But the appeals board ignored that action and allowed the hall to stay open while the owner appealed. Smith told News 4's Pat Lawson the board exceeded its authority.
The Consumer Regulatory Affairs Office did its job. They said the license ought to be revoked. And then this group, acting out of something that I think they had no basis to do in law, decided to keep it open anyway. And I think it's a shame, really. And it's about time for them to have to come before the public and explain what it is that they did and why they did what they did.
The bill being co-sponsored by Wilhelmina Roloff and Calvin Smith would give Frank Smith, would give the council power to confirm all future appointees to the board. Meanwhile, Smith is predicting quick passage of his bill to slap a curfew on kids who go to public dance halls. This comes after the Saturday night stabbing of 12-year-old Otis Nelson inside the club. D.C. police are trying to figure out why a security guard at the hall led police to believe no one inside had been hurt. The police report says the victim wasn't located until 40 to 45 minutes after the attack. It is reported now, though, that an investigation is demonstrating that there is some dispute in terms of whether or not the stabbing happened, in fact, inside or outside the club. In the meantime, Nelson is in serious condition tonight at Children's Hospital.
MPD officers patrolled the line outside, searched patrons coming in the door, and surveyed the crowd in riot gear. Something I've never seen. Stationed themselves outside on corners. In the mid-1970s, Hollywood Breeze opened a club on Bladensburg Road Northeast. The club was known as Breeze's Metro Club, the Met, which later became Dino's, one of the premier venues in the go-go music scene. The chicken wings, the drinks, and the people in attendance was a vibe like no other. The Met was home for many bands: Essence, Backyard, Little Benny and the Masters, Northeast Groovers, and others, all played there weekly. People squeeze onto the dance floor, and when the groove drops into a pocket or a breakdown beat, the whole club reacts. Cheers, hands in the air hollering, repping your hood. But with popularity came scrutiny. The club was under pressure from city authorities over noise complaints, violence outside the venue, underage drinking, and other issues. Late 80s and the early 90s, and later, there were incidents outside the club. Fights, shootings, murders, and other disturbances occurred. The liquor license was revoked for a period of time, but that didn't stop nothing.
If any DC niggas hear this, back then, I don't know if it's still there, but the Metro bus parking lot set across from Dino's or the Metro Club. Both these dudes are standing in front of the black Beamer letting off, and one of the dudes had two hammers. He letting off with both joints in front of the black Beamer. When the shots ran off, people were running. One dude, he tripped on the sidewalk and he like stumbled into the fence. Well, I hear the car. Some said, I guess the driver, which he did, he hit the accelerator. But he made the left going back towards New York Avenue, because New York Avenue and Bladensburg cross. DC niggas, Maryland niggas will know what I'm saying when they hear that. So he bucks a left. He does a U-turn last. At least 2 to 3 of them busted. But dude, he bucks a U, mad smoke. Mad smoke. He went over the medium and now he's falling back down Bladensburg Road. So I guess he got pulled over, or the police, or he might have stopped, I don't know. Because the time we got down there, there was a couple of police cars that stopped him, you know what I'm saying? So we like pull over like in the gas station, like we walk over, we want to see what's going on, because the driver didn't get hit. Because I remember the driver of the Beamer, he was outside the car going crazy, fussing with the police. Let me get to the hospital, But his man is hit up. This ain't the first time I seen a brother take his last breath. I remember, man, he was slumped on the driver's side, and like he was breathing, but you could see his chest. It would go up, and it would come down real slow.
Stay live for you, the whole my style, yeah. Also over them whole damn square.
At the corner of Georgia and Missouri Avenues Northwest sat another legendary spot uptown, the Ibex. If you crept in on a Tuesday night in the 90s, back up on stage, it was a party. The Bex was home to BYB, Junkyard going hard on Sunday nights. RE used to party there too, as well as other bands like Chuck. The place was 3 stories tall. The bar, Don P and Mo, bottles popping upstairs, the ladies turning up, dancing on the balcony. Nothing like it. It was also well known for its comedy shows, rap shows, and regular club nights. Superstar comedians like Martin Lawrence, Tommy Davidson, Donnell Rollins, and many other DC comics got their start at stand-up comedy right inside the Ibex. A historic moment in go-go history was when Backyard had the 70's jam at the Ibex. It was jam-packed uptown, and the rest of the DC area showed up and showed out. The video itself is self-explanatory. By the mid-90s, Local officials, residents, and the media had begun to heavily scrutinize the Ibex. Fights, alcohol infractions, loitering, and noise complaints. In February 1997, D.C. police officer Brian Gibson was shot and killed by a patron who had been ejected from the Ibex. That incident triggered an immediate action. Regulators pulled licenses. Ibex's liquor license and business license were revoked. The club was shut down.
From the G-Sub,